Hello, you all. Welcome. Arica Angelo live from Texas, Texas, where the family is from. If you are new here, welcome. We are talking about why it's okay to not always be okay. And you know what? I think a lot of people need to hear this. And I'm going to talk about something that is a relatively new term. You may not have heard about it, but we're going to also talk about toxic positivity. Drives me up the wall, where this has been a socially acceptable thing. It's something that's been expected out of all of us, but is super toxic. Super toxic. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about why it's okay to not always be okay. Sean, thank you for that super chat. That is so sweet of you. Thank you, my darling. Thank you. Guys, I really want this one to be interactive. So thank you for getting us started off, Sean. Um, so I want to get this off with opening you guys up to chime in and say thank you, darling. You're the best. And I want you guys to share with me kind of where you are. Jason from Texas. We're both in Texas right now, Jason. Derek's from California. Oh, darling, thank you. Paul, thank you. He says, I'm not okay. I'm struggling with a lot right now. Hi from Mexico. Love the topics you talk about and how good you are making us feel. Thank you for that feedback. And I'm so glad to be able to love on you guys. Joe Bird says, my question is it a bad thing to be nice? You always look beautiful. Oh, thank you, darling. We'll talk about that. Cayman, hello, North Carolina. Ninja Wolf, glad that you are here as always. Faithful Ninja Wolf. Thomas is going to come back and join us later. So here is the thing. Right now, I'm just going to bust out and be real. Thank you, Ninja Wolf. Croatia. Oh, Croatia. You know what? Thank you for being here. I'm not going to say your name right. Ruvochi. Vincente. Hi, Blair from Ohio. Vincente, you are from? I need to get to Croatia. I really want to get to Croatia. It's really, really important that I get there. Joe Bird, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. And yes, when you do nice things for people and they do so little for you, we're going to talk about that. Thank you, darling. So here's the thing. Let's just get really honest. You know, for the past, has it been 2 years now, or are we going on 3 years? We had the whole pandemic thing that the whole world went through, shook the whole world. Florida, that's right, Vincente. Sorry, darling. My mind has been all over the place for the past 2 weeks. Travis, and maybe longer than that, if I'm being very honest. When Wisconsin, glad to have you here. So we went through this pandemic. You know, this puts a stress on people. Some people would even say that for some of them that it was a bit traumatic going through that. Now they're talking about recession. Now the president just said, oh, there could be another pandemic. We're all like, we're done. We're done. And then you hear of, the war that's going on and with the Ukraine and Russia. And it's like all of this sort of stuff takes a toll on people. It takes a toll on society. It trickles down. It takes a toll on individuals, on families, uh, on our economy. It takes a drastic toll. When you've gone through one thing, and nonetheless, what's also going on in your own life, the things that are transpiring in your own life, when we go through cycles of this and they're continuing year after year, it takes a toll on the nervous system. It takes a toll on the mind, on the body, on the heart, on the spirit, on the soul. It takes an absolute toll. With that being said, we are not always going to be okay. And that in itself is okay. This is a big thing in America. Obviously, it's different in different countries. France, this is completely different. And I'm laughing because the French have a reputation for always complaining. So it's like, American will say to a French person, "Hi, how's your day? Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it fantastic?" And then a French person will go, It's okay. It is a little hot. Why is it too hot? I don't understand. Why are there tourists all around? It drives me crazy." So, but in America, I really believe that like we've really been fueled and we've really perpetuated what I call and what is being called as toxic positivity. So when you go through all these things, everything's not going to be sunny. It's not going to be great. Sometimes things are going to be hard. Sometimes life is going to be stressful. Sometimes it's going to be draining. Sometimes you're going to be sad. Sometimes you're going to be angry. And we need to understand that that is okay, that that is part of the human experience. That is part of moving through life. And Blair says prayer works wonders too. Absolutely, prayer does. But sometimes, there are people when they get praying and they don't see the answers and they're like, God, where are you? And I'm talking about in those moments where you don't have the faith to pray, where you don't have the faith to be positive, and you're at your wits' ends. In those moments, it's okay to not be okay. And I feel like we just need to have permission to know that we don't always have to be on the up and up. Everything doesn't have to be smiley and dandy. Sometimes life is challenging, and it's okay to say, we are going through a challenging time. It's okay to say, I'm not great. It's okay to say, I'm sad, I'm frustrated, I'm tired. These things are okay. And I'm going to tell you why they're okay. Because here's the thing. I talk a lot about vulnerability on my channel. I believe that vulnerability is the gateway into intimacy. You can't do vulnerability hiding behind toxic positivity because that's not vulnerable in itself. I think a lot of times we use positivity as a shield to not let people see on the inside of us, because if we're not perfect, if we're not great, we're not going to be accepted. So we tell ourselves we're not going to be loved. We're not going to be appreciated. For men, it's I'm going to be seen as weak. But the reality is when we start lying to one another, that is the weakest stance we can take, because in essence, it's hiding behind fear is really what it boils down to. So we can't ever have intimacy with one another if we're all pretending and playing games that everything is okay. In fact, it's not okay for you to do that for yourself, because as a human being, you never get to regulate your emotions because you're always hiding behind positivity. You're always hiding behind everything's okay. And frankly, that's not the case. How are you going to know what you're experiencing unless you were honest with yourself? And a lot of times we need to have the permission to be honest with ourselves, to say, I'm not okay. Okay, if I'm not okay, what am I feeling? I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling burnt out. I feel at my wits' end. I feel discouraged. I feel hopeless. I feel sad. I feel frustrated. I feel irate. I feel angry. It's giving ourselves the opportunity to get real and to verbalize to ourselves and to others what we are experiencing in this human experience, as opposed to just saying, everything's okay, everything's great, I'm fine. In fact, people who are like that all the time, I want nothing to do with them. These kind of people I want to keep as acquaintances, because I'm like, you're not fun to do life with. You're not safe to do life with, because safe people have the courage to show up and be raw and be vulnerable. I can't show you my mess if you're constantly hiding behind a wall of self-protection of positivity, is essentially what you're doing. So we have to let the guards come down and we have to be honest. But the first person we have to be honest with is ourselves. And I think that in itself scares us because we don't know what to do with that. And sometimes you don't have to do anything about it, but to give yourself some patience, to let yourself be there, to let yourself be where you are. And so if you're watching this, if you're new to my channel, one, I encourage you to subscribe. But if you're new here and you're like, yeah, I'm not okay, and I just need someone to give me permission to say, hey, it's okay to not be okay, and you have full permission to be there. So when I talk about regulating your emotions, You're not going to know what you feel unless you give yourself permission to just say, it's okay to experience whatever I am experiencing. Like, I'm going to sit with this. I'm not going to run from it. I'm not going to lie about my experience. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to be real. Does that resonate with anyone? Yeah, I agree with you, Kate. He says it's called toxic positivity if someone hides behind an issue in life. Um, we also call this when people are not feeling their emotions, we call it bypassing. It's emotionally bypassing. It's, I'm going to skip through this so that I don't have to feel what I'm feeling. And what happens is the body then starts manifesting itself. It manifests in sickness and disease and mental health issues, depression, anxiety. All these things is the body trying to tell us, I have some things going on below the surface that you're not giving me permission to experience. And so this is my shout out, wake up call to you to say to you, hey, I need you to pay attention. And so we got to give ourselves permission to just say, hey, I'm not okay. Not okay. And what do you do when you're not okay? First, I really want to hit that point strong. And I know I'm hammering over it and I sound like a broken record here. But the reason why I'm hitting it so hard is because of this toxic positivity that we have been conditioned to cooperate with. And so I really want to drive home that you have to give yourself permission to be where you are and feel where you are. And here's the beauty of it, it's an emotion. They come and they go. You're not stuck there forever. And you need to hear that. I think sometimes we get scared to feel what we're feeling because it's like, well, if I feel that, I'm just going to be stuck there. No, you're not. Just like seasons change, just like we go from uh, darkness to light, hot to cold, everything changes. Your emotions are going to change too. But you cowardly pretending like they're not there or disguising them with positivity only eventually brings you anguish in the long run. So, first thing is give yourself permission and allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. So, if you're feeling not okay, you know what, darling? It is okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Second thing is what I've been talking about, which is compassion, self-compassion. When we are in a situation where we're not feeling okay, sometimes we just need to slow down and stop. Quit going so hard. Stay in, watch a little television, check out, read a favorite book, take a bubble bath, have a glass of wine, go for a walk, sit down with a friend, have an honest conversation with them. For me, I'm a high touch person. For me, it's either I have my partner hold me, or if my partner is not there, then I hold myself and I just get in bed. I lay in the fetal position, put a pillow between the legs, put a pillow in between your arms because that lets us feel like we have something to connect to. Some people do it with stuffed animals, whatever works for you. But holding yourself so that you can regulate yourself, so that you can tell your body, listen, you're not alone. You're being supported, you're being held, you're being loved. And so we cannot just keep pushing ourselves and driving ourselves. At some point, we have to stop and we have to care for ourselves. Because listen, if you don't care for you, nobody else is. Unless you push yourself to the point where you're hospitalized, then a nurse and a doctor will take care of you. And trust me, it will happen if you don't start taking care of yourself. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's a reality check. And so we show ourselves compassion. We give ourselves permission to feel what we feel. We allow ourselves to feel it. We grieve it. We experience it. If we're angry, we anger. If we're sad, we cry. If we feel scared, then we say, I'm scared. And then we give ourselves compassion. What do I need to give myself? As I just shared with you, I'm a high touch person, so I hold myself a lot. I'm a quality time person. I spend time with the people I love. I get on the phone with them. I have an honest conversation with them about where I'm at and what's going on. You need to ask yourself, what is my love language? Because that's going to be your key on how to fill yourself up. If it's gifts, then go out and get yourself a gift. Get on Amazon Prime, order yourself a gift. If it's acts of service, reaching out to someone and saying, hey, would you mind doing this for me? My energy is pretty low right now. It would mean the world to me if you could do this for me. If your love language is words of affirmation, then you reach out and you say, I'm really down or I'm really scared, or I'm really frustrated. Would you just tell me like what you see about me, what you love about me? I know that may sound weird, but would you mind just giving that to me? Because I really need that right now. That's how we love ourselves. That's what practical self-care looks like, is giving ourselves a voice to say, I am a person and I have needs. And vulnerability tells other people, hey, in a really beautiful way, I need you because I'm not capable right now of giving myself what I need. And this is the beauty of interdependence, not independence, but and not codependency, but interdependence, which means, hey, I have an area in my life that I need you in. And I'm telling you what, the more junk that's going on in the world, the more we have to press in to one another. That's the only way to thrive in these times, is to press in and say, I need people. And when you're not okay, most of the time you're going to need healthy people around you. Sometimes you need nature, sometimes you need time alone. But it's being an advocate for yourself and going, what is it that I need to support myself in this time? Sometimes it's working out and getting outside of your head and just giving your body a break to release everything, all the stress that it's been feeling. It's getting really clear with yourself when you're not doing okay. How am I going to show up for me? And if I don't have the capacity to show up for me, how am I going to let someone else be there for me? How am I going to let people in? And trust me, for you singles out there, if you're single and you're watching this video, if you can't do this with the people in your life, then guess what? You're not going to do this with a partner. It just doesn't change overnight. You got to let people in today. You let people in today, you make room for the person for tomorrow. It's as simple as that. And if you need support, please get that connection meditation on my website. It's right there, aricaangelo.com. Also, if any of you guys struggle with like vulnerability, like if I'm sharing this with you and this really triggers you and like that terrifies me to voice out that I need people, I have a vulnerability course on there. I do have a bit of a secret. I will tell you that some of you guys may not know this, but if you sign up for the connection meditation, I'm going to send you like 5 challenges to help you integrate that. But at the end of it, you're going to get an offer to get my new course, 5 Things That Sabotage You from Real Connection, excuse me, and my vulnerability course at 60% off. So I haven't been saying that, but if you get that connection medication, I can't speak, connection meditation, you will get both of those for 60% off. So make sure that you get that. It should be about the 6th email that you get from me, and it will let you know that. So make sure that you get that because both courses you need. All right, guys, let me go to the chat, and I'm not going to be able to stay on this one as long. So I just make sure if you have any questions or if you want to be heard, now is your time. Let's see. Thomas, glad to have you back. Oh, yes, I do need to get to Croatia to Game of Thrones. I went to Ireland. I did a Game of Thrones tour in Ireland years ago. So I would love to come out and see that. Let's see. Vincente is inviting all of us to his place in Florida to come out and recharge. Ninja Wolf is from South Carolina. Lucas says it is okay to feel depressed or sad. All is okay. It's like I've heard therapists say all emotions are welcome here. And the beauty is that once you release it, That's just it. You release it. They don't stay in your body forever. The only way that they stay trapped in your body is if you continue to deny them. Um, let's see. Arctic says, in my case, I'm feeling like I'm wasting my best years. I'm struggling to get my master's degree abroad, and now I do not know what my purpose is. I'm in a vital decision, but I feel I can change the world. I encourage you, Arctic, to really share your vision with a couple of people that are very close to you. Um, and just speak your vision out, because sometimes we keep our vision just here, but when we share our vision with other people, it helps bring clarity as to what we need to do next. What we get excited about, what lights us up, sometimes can bring us tons of clarity. So I would really encourage you to get some close people in your life around you and to share your vision and see what parts light you up. And then that will give you the next step. Travis says you're a TBI survivor since October 4th, trying to survive this disability. Can you let me know what that means, please? I'm not sure what that is. Meher, I guess you missed your LA flight. No, I did not have to go to LA, thankfully. That would have been too last minute for me, but I do have to go at some point. Um, Derek Tickler says being vulnerable, allowing the opposite sex to come in. It's true. Matt says, I missed the beginning again. It's okay, darling. It's going to be there for replay and you can go watch it from the beginning. Lucas says, yes, for example, I feel hate and frustration towards my family, and I need to experience this feeling and emotion. In other case, I will never contact them back. Yeah, I think, I've done a lot of research into trauma. I find trauma fascinating. And with trauma, it's like if you don't, so many people say this, and this is the worst thing a trauma survivor can ever say. My parents were just doing their best. That is the worst thing any person can ever say when they've experienced trauma, because what it does is you're parenting your parents. You're trying to show compassion to your parents by parenting them, but what happens is when you bypass that, you're bypassing your emotions and you're not acknowledging what fully happened to you. And until you fully acknowledge what happened to you, you can't fully heal. Doesn't work. You got to fully acknowledge it in order to fully heal. Bypassing, it comes with a plethora of charged emotions that never get resolved and then show up in different ways, such as disease, mental health. Um, Lucas says, saying my family are toxic. Thanks for sharing, Matt. Yeah, thank you for being very honest about that. Blair says, if you don't allow yourself to be vulnerable in situations, then you can be really loudly in life. What do you mean by that? It skipped. Um, Orville Nation, so glad to have you here. Maria, I'm so glad you're here. Joe Bird says, if you're always doing something nice for them and they do so little for you. Joe, this always goes back to self-value. When we give and give and give and we don't see people giving back to us, it's always a question of, do we value ourselves? And typically, if you're in a situation where you're giving and it's not going mutually, stop giving. Find someone else to pour into where you feel like it's coming back and forth. Ninja Wolf says, what happens if you don't need people? I'm of the mindset that we will always need people. I know that when we're going through certain things in our life, we may require more alone time. That's okay. But at the end of the day, we will always need people. I always say this. It took your mom's womb, it took your father's sperm, and it took a doctor to pull you out. You came into this world needing community. You did not come into this world alone. You will not leave this world alone. We all need one another. Travis says a traumatic brain injury. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. In 2004, I was 24 years old. Life is just different at 43. Yeah, Travis, I have a sister who has the same issue. She lives in a nursing home, and you're further along than she is. And I just want to encourage you that I can't, I don't understand what you're going through, because I personally have not experienced that. So the burden and the frustration and the weariness that must come with that, I can only imagine. And so my encouragement to you would be it's literally just one day at a time. It's one step after the next is really all that you can do. And I think that just acknowledging that you are still here and that you are making the most out of each day is the gift that you give yourself every day. And that is powerful. That is powerful that you choose to show up for yourself every day. You may not be as far as long as you would like to be, but you know what? The effort and the determination that you have, you really got to show yourself some gratitude for that and say, listen, I am doing the best I can with something that was really unfortunate. So I really honor you for being here. Um, Matt was saying I was just expressing how abusive my mother was. Now she has passed. You know, sometimes when we've had abuse and the person passes away, it actually gives us the space to properly grieve because we don't feel like they're in the background still oppressing us or that they could oppress us. And so it really gives us a moment to go, okay, now I can fully grieve this without there being repercussion. Um, Ninja Wolf says, getting old is no fun for me. I bet everybody agrees with me. I don't know, Ninja Wolf. I'm going to have to disagree with you. I'm 41 and I, much like my life now, well, right now it's a bit stressful, but I have to say that I appreciate my life as I'm older because my confidence, my comfortability with myself, the things that I'm doing with my life at my age, never was in the position to do them prior. Mahara says, everyone go see Elvis. It has some good life lessons. Saw it yesterday, early screen. Yes, I definitely want to go see that. Matt, I'm glad you agree. And Ninja Wolf, you're 31. Boy, I'm going to come for you. You are not old. 31 is nothing, man. Listen, guys, I hate to run off, but I do have another live coming tomorrow for you. But let me just wrap it up by saying this just to kind of put a ribbon on this is essentially it's okay to not be okay. You don't have to hide behind toxic positivity. You don't have to bypass your situation and pretend like it's not there. Like you have permission to not be okay and that you will be okay. It just may not be today, maybe tomorrow. But give yourself permission to feel what you're feeling. First and foremost, show yourself some compassion. What do you need? What are your five love languages? How do you give yourself your top two right now? How do you get on that? And three, being super honest with the people in your life. They're never going to know how to support you if they don't know that you're going through something. They need to know what you're going through in order to better support you. And here's the thing, help them support you. Tell them exactly what you need. Just don't say, I'm going through a rough time. Say, I'm going through a rough time. I could really use affirmation, just some quality time, and come over and watch a movie with me to be held. Whatever it is that you need, give it a voice. Guys, I love you so, so, so much. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful for your presence. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Be loved, be encouraged, and know that you're not alone. Whoever you are who you're watching this and you're like, I'm not okay. Baby, you're not alone. And you are so loved. And there's so much support around you. Just position yourself to be able to receive some of that. I love you guys so much. I can't wait to spend more time with you tomorrow. You guys take care. Bye, guys.